Okay, we're getting there. I want to show you a really cool trick here, though, before we continue. It would be really handy for me to know where the dead center of my layout is. That's going to help me line up the additional rings and the hole that's going to go in the center of the disc and maybe parts of the actual design, the actual layout that we stick on this guy. That's all going to be helpful, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple of things, actually. What I'll do here, first of all, inside my layers palette, is I have my new layer there, layer 1. I suppose I should rename this guy. I'll just double click on this guy and I'll call him disk. There we go. And I'm going to hold down Command here on the Mac or Control on the Windows side and select the background layer as well. Essentially what I want to do is I want to get it so that the disk layer sits in the dead center of my Photoshop file, right? Inside the dead center of the canvas. So what I'm going to do is with these two guys selected now, I'm going to head up to the Layer menu and then down to Align, and then I'll choose Vertical Centers, something like that. And then I'll head back to Layer, back down to Align, and then I'll choose Horizontal Centers. Now my disk layer is in the dead center of my background layer, right? Wonderful. Okay, that's great. Now here's the next thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to deselect both layers. I just clicked below my background layer. And then I will select the disk layer, and I'm going to use my free transform. I'm sure you know about free transform. So make sure you have your disk layer selected and then hit Command T or Control T. Now, this is a trick that I picked up off of someone else, another Photoshop designer, so I can't take credit for it. Years and years back, he showed me this, and I thought this was the coolest thing. I don't actually want to transform my disk layer. I don't want to distort them, or I don't want to scale them, or anything like this. I don't want to do any of the things that the free transform command is going to allow me to do. All I want to do is I want to use the little nodes on the free transform, the little resize handles that we see, to help me find the dead center of this object. So here I can see the dead center is right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my cursor into the vertical ruler, and I'm going to drag out a guide, and I'm going to drop it right in the dead center of the free transform, something like this. So I'm just making sure that my cursor is lined up with the top handle and also the bottom handle, way down towards the bottom of my document, something like this. There we go. And then I'll do the same horizontally. So I'm going to drag down a horizontal ruler and drop this guy right at the dead center of my free transform. Again, using the handles to help me line this up. Something like this. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Now, what I'll do is I'll just hit Escape on my keyboard. I'm not actually going to use that free transform, remember, but now I have guides that are sitting in the dead center of my layout. A very, very cool trick here. All right. Good stuff. Now, we have some additional circles, some additional rings to set up, so we will do that next.